Oh,
Hey Nate, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing okay.
You looking leaner since the last time?
It's funny, a lot of people have been noticing it too, and it actually took me a while to recognize it, but I have been getting a lot of people mentioning it, and I think now it's like starting to like kind of click in my head that it is kind of like real, I guess you
Yeah.
could say.
Yeah, I mean, the results show it. I know it's hard to see ourselves just because we live with ourselves every single day, every moment. So to see like the night and day difference is harder. But yeah, when other people start to recognize, that's when you know you're actually getting results. And that's the best feeling too, is when you start to get more compliments from people.
Yeah, and then my scrubs feel looser now. All my shorts, and I don't feel on my shirts anymore. And my shorts and my pants are all falling off now, which is insane because I have to like wear a belt everywhere I go. So, but the progress is definitely there, and then I'm glad that I finally like realize it now.
So when you first started, you were at 187. You're down to 163. So that's 24 pounds in 16 weeks. And that was the beginning of this month. So I'm not even sure what you're weighing now. Did you weigh yourself recently?
Yeah, I'm actually like 160 now from like I weighed myself this morning.
So, I mean, dude, that's even what, 27 pounds? So almost 30 pounds you've lost since. And that's awesome. What were you struggling with before joining my program or working with me?
I think the thing that I was struggling with the most, I probably would just have to say would be just discipline. I mean, I was always going to the gym, but there wasn't really like discipline for myself to really stay and do cardio afterwards and to really challenge myself. It was just more like, at least if I'm at the gym, at least I have some sort of sense of security, at least I like doing something about it, but I'm not proactively like trying to make the most out of it. I would always just be like, well, I don't want to do this today. At least I went and I did the job and it was fine. But I think it was more so like actually staying and doing everything and disciplining myself. And that not only just applies to workouts, but that also applied to diet. I think that was like one thing where it also kind of came to a sense where I needed to make my own food for the first time and really starting to stick with it. And at first it was really hard because I always thought I didn't really have enough time in the day to go grocery shopping, to make my own food. But after a while, really doing it, it kind of became a habit. And now it's part of my everyday routine now. I'm more conscious about what I eat now, and I'm more disciplined of exercising and making my own food and being very mindful and cautious about what I put in myself.
So what made you finally take action and start this journey?
I think for a while I knew where I was at my lowest point. The heaviest I've ever been was like almost like 200 pounds. And the fact that I was already creeping in the 180s and over 185 at one point, I started to become a little bit more aware about it. And I think for me, I was approaching 30 and I don't want to be self-conscious or I don't want to like have like this like low self-esteem. Kind of the fact that I was already gaining closer to like 200, I knew that I was going into an area where I was before and I wasn't happy about that. I thought I was doing fine, getting class pass and like signing up for a sparring race, but I just felt like it wasn't enough. So I knew that there was something I needed to change. I just didn't know what. I realized how much unhealthy I was eating, even though I thought I was eating fine, and realizing like how I do eat before and how I eat now, it's a lot cleaner. And just the fact that I was getting older, I wanted to take better care of myself and I wanted to feel better about myself. And as I get older, I see how certain people are when they become 40 and 50 and health and diseases kind of run in the family that I don't want to have when I'm at that age. So I think that was the only time where I started noticing I think I need to take action.
So did you have any like fears or doubts or maybe some hesitations before starting? And if so, what were they?
Well, I was always really scared of, I guess, judgment from you. And the way I could explain it is, oh, if I didn't lose a certain weight by this time, or like if I like might have accidentally slept in eating habits, or if I missed a meal or something. I think that was one thing that I was scared of. There were a lot of times where I just was doubtful, like I could even complete certain things, like well, being almost at the gym for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. There are things I need to do after work that I was like, oh, if I can't commit to it or I can't do it. And just being really able to discipline myself of not being tempted to eat certain things and really just sticking to the schedule. I think those are like kind of the fears that I had.
Like, how was your experience when you talk about the fears that you assumed or doubts that your friends experienced? What was your experience? I mean, what happened when you didn't live up to the expectations or you didn't follow the plan or you did fall off? Like, what did you experience in the sense of my reaction towards that?
Comfort knowing that like it was okay. It wasn't the end of the world. And even if I did end up kind of like slipping 1 week or falling off track, I was able to fall back and lose weight and realign myself.
What specific changes have you seen in your body, maybe energy or even maybe confidence since starting?
Yesterday, I actually ran 10K voluntarily. I did another an hour. It was crazy. Now I realize like my body's a little bit more able to keep up with certain workouts. Back then, I thought running was like an impossible task, but now it's kind of like, oh, I was able to do it yesterday, and I wasn't as drained or tired doing it. I mean, granted, I had my little breaks here and there, but I realize now my body is able to kind of keep up more. And that makes me feel better because the fact that I signed up for a 10K Spartan race and that was like daunting, that made me so fearful. I don't know why I did it, but I was like, okay, I want to try and challenge myself. But to get to that mindset, to get there felt very difficult. Physically, I'm a little bit lighter. I can move more. And I do notice in the physical sense, I am stronger. I could do a pull up now, like 10 of them, which is crazy. In January, I could do zero. So the
Yeah.
fact that I caught myself doing them, I'm like, that's new.
Yeah, doing your first pull up is huge. And then after that, you just start banging them out. And you're like, what part of the process helped you the most, would you say? Was it maybe the workouts, meal planning, accountability, mindset, etc.?
I thought I'd get tired of eating the same thing over and over again, but I think the mindset was maybe a bigger shift. There's flavor in everything, and things that are temptation, all that stuff. I knew in the end, a mindset changed. Now, like when I think about food, I kind of like resort more towards like cleaner things now. Like I don't really eat that much sugar nowadays, and yeah, I think it honestly is just the mindset and the food that helped me realize how much I was eating poorly. So that kind of was a big realization. But I also realized, when it says mainly in order to really lose weight, it is in the diet rather than like the exercises, and definitely that was able to help me slim down because I thought losing weight was impossible at one point when I was like, I'm doing all this, but nothing's working. But diet really did kind of play the biggest role.
How has this transformation impacted your life outside the gym, would you say? Maybe relationships, work, discipline, etc.?
I think personal wise, I'm not as self conscious as I used to be anymore. I mean, I am a little bit skinnier, which I do notice. I'm not insecure about it. I feel like this part of my stomach is out. I'm just kind of like flat, which is like nice. So I think for me, like self esteem is a little bit higher.
That's how the whole body dysmorphia goes. Even us bodybuilders experience the same thing. We want to bulk up, but yet we have body fat now and we want to look lean. So we cut, but then we look small. We go through these different sizes and shirts, and it definitely is a mental game. But I think you're in a good place, like you said. You'd rather be lean and confident, not so self-conscious about the
Yeah.
body fat, even though you might look bigger in size. But that bigger in size sometimes can just be body fat that makes it want to fill out your shirts and make you look bulky. But that used to be me, and I'm kind of in the place of just not trying to be the biggest guy in the room anymore. I would rather be the guy who, if we took off our shirts, I'd be happy to because I don't have to worry about body fat or just being lean, strong, and confident. That's, I think, where a lot of men want to be, but they try to bulk up and then they have all this body fat that they need to shed. So they go through this cycle, right? So for you, I would say since you're lean and you have more of a flatter tummy, from here, it's just about building more muscle mass without gaining that fat back, right?
Yeah.
Which can be a little bit slower process, but that's why this is a lifelong journey. This isn't just 4 month temporary thing for you. You're going to continue to progress, get stronger, get bigger in muscle mass, but keep it lean.
Yeah, and I think that's good because I really needed that push for however long the program was. It kind of helped me now, and I'm now in a habit of a lot of things.
My last question for you, man. What would you say to someone who's on the fence or in the same place you were before starting?
If you're thinking about doing it, I'd probably say really do it. If you have doubts about it, I would say do it if you know that you're going to be able to make the time for it. Because trust me, it was hard. It was very difficult. But in the end, how it was back in like the beginning of the year and compared to how now, I do feel a lot better about myself. I do feel more confident. And if you're willing to really put in the time and effort and really make the change, it will help. But yeah, I think you just have to be able to really prepare yourself to really like put in the work. And as long as you're able to do that, then it'll definitely pay off for sure.
Always worth it in
Yeah.
the end, man. Nothing good comes easy. If you look at all the progress you've made, you can assess the work that came with it and say, like, although it was hard, it was worth it, definitely worth it. Most people want to achieve what you achieve, but aren't willing to work for it. And so then you got to ask yourself, well, how bad is it for you to get to these goals? And that's what makes or breaks somebody in actually getting to their goals is if they're willing to put in the work. And that's what you decided to do, despite it being hard, despite it being challenging, and maybe losing a little bit of sleep, a little bit of energy. Like you did it. Now you have this discipline in your life and you've created these habits that you're going to stick with even after the program. This new you doing random 10Ks, right? Probably wouldn't have signed up for if you didn't join. And so, yeah, those are huge milestones, man. Super proud of you. And so, guys, if you're watching this and are interested in the program, interested in working together, you can book in a call. We'll simply talk about your goals, struggles, and see if I can help.